What's up, everybody? It is the first KoperCrabb Podcast.
The first one ever.
That's right.
Cheers.
That's right. Let's get a cheers on. Hold on, I gotta get another beer. So what are we having today for the beers?
Mind Haze IPA. Where did you get this from?
I walked up the street to Cabrillo Liquors, and I bought Mind Haze. There's one other one in here. Let me check it out real quick for the viewers. Haze the Day.
Ooh, that one looks good. Anything with the name Haze in it, I feel like I will probably like.
True.
I'm a Haze guy.
A Haze guy or a
Yeah.
Haze girl?
Well, either. Depends on the day.
So we set all this crap up. It was a fucking pain in the ass. Setting up this shit sucked.
Yeah, it seemed like you were having a pretty terrible time, but I think that it would be much harder for someone who didn't have any idea of how to set up or like any idea of audio engineering or anything like that.
I can't even imagine trying to do that. That would be hell.
You were pulling out a lot of wires that I feel like a normal person doesn't have available to them from under our bed.
Totally true. All right, Chaney, let's have a little toast here.
Cheers.
Cheers.
First ever KoperCrabb Podcast, and
That's
we named it that. We haven't really decided how to spell it yet, I guess.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hopefully by the time we put this out, we have a good spelling for KoperCrabb. We don't know whether to spell it the way that our last names are pronounced or the proper way to spell things, but because your last name is Koperweis, my last name is Crabb.
Right.
KoperCrabb Podcast. There we go.
It makes sense, right?
It's as easy as that.
It makes sense. Marketing. Marketing.
And it helps because we both have, it helps because we both have really weird names, but your entire name is weird, and the weird part of my name is not the name that we're using for the podcast, because your name is Navene, my name is Chaney, and that's really strange, actually, that we ended up together and we're two people who have such weird names. When did you first realize that your name was not a normal name that other kids had?
Probably would have been when I first started going to school, right?
Oh, yeah, no teacher could pronounce your name the correct way.
Yeah, and also, so, if you follow me online, you know that I'm extremely manly,
Because of the beard?
Because of the beard, from working out,
You like
drinking
beer.
beer, drinking Coors Light, working. I post about work sometimes. Blue collar guy. But when I was a kid, I had a ponytail, had long hair.
Oh, yeah.
So my name was Navene, and I looked like a girl.
Yeah.
So I don't even know. Have I told you that before? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you used to get mad when people would mistake you for being a girl when you had long hair when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was basically, everyone thought I was a girl.
Right.
Sucked. Maybe that's why I'm trying to make up for it.
You're trying to do the exact opposite thing. That's interesting. But
Yeah.
anyway,
we got the podcast going. Chaney has been asking me to do a podcast with her for a while, and I've wanted to do it. I thought that was a wonderful idea. But for one, the technical thing, I don't know anything about the software and stuff, so I had to learn a little bit about that.
right.
And bear with me. I'm just, freaking all the angles from back here.
Well, because I think it was always your thing that if we were going to do it, you wanted to do it like the technically correct way, which isn't always the best way to go about things. Let's be real with that. But hey, I don't blame you. It looks really good. I'm truly impressed with like the million camera angles and the microphones. You're doing it up kind of pro. So I back it. I
don't fuck around.
Obviously not at all, yeah.
But I've been spending so much time about doing the technical side. Mm-hmm. Now we got to think about what the show's going to be about.
Yeah, I guess we forgot to think about that. Well, why do you want to have a podcast? What's your...
Yeah, so I think what I was saying before was part of the... I really wanted to do the podcast. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that was holding me back was sort of ties into that perfectionist mindset.
Right.
Which is like, I'm sure a lot of musicians have that. You know, you all or nothing thinking. You want to either do it and be the absolute best, or you're not even going to do it at all, you know?
Right.
And that was, so there's the technical side. And then on the other side, I guess it's, some people would call it being humble, but I don't always feel like if I'm going to have a podcast, I'm going to inevitably be giving people advice, because I think that's just the type of person that I am.
Yeah,
you know?
I think so
I'm
too. Totally.
The older brother. I give people advice.
You have a lot of wisdom to share, I think. Yeah, you give good advice. So yeah.
And then sometimes
Definitely.
I feel like I'm not proven enough to be giving that advice. And I think that's one of the things that was initially holding me back from pulling the trigger on it. Mm-hmm. But when I really started thinking about it, maybe in my life I'm working towards a lot of stuff and I don't feel like I've done everything that I'm supposed to do yet. Mm-hmm. But along the way, if there's something that I've gone through and I can tell somebody else who's maybe one step behind me and it can help them out, then I should do it.
Absolutely. And I know that for both you and I, listening to podcasts has been really influential in our lives. I mean, there are so many things, so many ideas that I think both of us come to each other with that are because we heard them from a podcast. And naturally, we both like to talk, and we're both people who like to share our state of mind. So I think that just probably seemed as appealing to you as it did to me. Yeah. Whereas I don't know. I like to get my thoughts out there to see if there's anyone else who feels the same way I do, because I've listened to things and I've become more comfortable with myself over time because of listening to people talk. Yeah. So
and sometimes you listen to podcasts and it's not like it has to be dense, full of just a nonstop, hard hitting, life-changing influence every 5 seconds. I mean, it's Saturday right now, but this podcast is probably going to come out during the week. Mm-hmm. And I when I'm at work, I listen to podcasts when I can, when I'm driving and whatever. And if it's mildly interesting, I'll listen to it. Or if I like the people a little bit, I'll listen to it.
I will listen to stuff that I'm not even really that interested in. A lot of the time I start like listening to a podcast after I've kind of been tuning out for a few minutes, and I realize that it's just two friends like talking about shooting the shit, talking about their day, and it's stuff that I really don't even care about at all, but it's cool to listen to people talk, I guess. And so I've been excited to start this for a while, and I'm really glad that we finally are sitting down and doing the thing, and maybe from here we can kind of figure out where we're going with this. I mean, obviously, it's a place for us to share ideas about music and things. Absolutely. Because obviously we're in a band together. Music is probably the biggest thing in both of our lives, I would say. But we both do a lot of other things too, and so yeah.
And making it all work within music. I think that's something that a lot of people have trouble with. Is if you're like me and you're gonna want to just. My ideal day would be, I like to work out, so I'd be working out and then making music for 10 hours a day, maybe 10, 12 hours a day. That's what I would do. I'm 100% fine doing that. Unfortunately, fortunately or not, we've chosen a style of art that is not the most profitable. Yeah. So making ends meet and doing this sort of esoteric art is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's probably what I'll talk about the most.
Yeah, totally. And I always find it interesting that one of the most common questions that I'll get from people when we're on the road or just talking to me online is, how do you pursue music full time? How do you pursue death metal full time?
Right.
And the reality is that, well, first of all, we don't. Neither of us pursue playing death metal full time. And I don't think that that's something that either of us ever signed up for, because when you play this style of music, you really know from an early age that you're not going to be rich and famous. But that's also not why anyone I know got in that's not why I got into playing death metal
100%,
at all.
100%.
So yeah, you have to be able to live the kind of lifestyle that we do. You have to find other ways to make money for the most part, because very few bands who have screaming, have blast beats or weird prog parts are making a living off of what they do. But they're finding jobs when they're home that they can work at surrounding playing music. Like for you and I, both of us have jobs where the people that we work for are very understanding that we're musicians first and foremost, and we can take time off when we want to. And it's not easy to find jobs like that, but if you really want to do this, then you make it work.
You got to make it work.
Yeah.
You got to work.
Absolutely.
And I think that's sort of like a dirty secret in the musician and metal industry, right?
Yeah.
You know, everyone wants to. Nobody posts, "Oh, this is me at my day job."
Right.
Right. And everyone wants to make it seem like, and I guess that's just part of the whole thing of being in a band and being like a rock star kind of person. Like, you have to have two things. You have to have money coming in, and then your lifestyle has to be either at that point or lower. You know, otherwise you're getting yourself into a ton of debt.
Right. Which people do.
Yeah. Which is a whole nother podcast, which we will go into.
Yeah, I'm sure.
For sure. We want to talk about that. But yeah, on surface level, I noticed that not a whole lot of people, it's almost like they're ashamed of it, right?
Oh, I mean, I think of when I ask people, when we're on tour, when I'm asking other people who do what we do, what else they have going on, it usually always revolves around music. And then the real job thing is always like, it's, you know, they don't want to really talk about it very much, which I understand. But like you said, I think that it's just, it's not realistic. And people who are on the outside, or kids who are trying to get into playing music and touring all the time, they should know the truth.
Yeah.
Because that's how they can make it work too.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people do know, right? They do. I mean, when I was 16, I've done way more than I thought I ever would, because I grew up going to hardcore shows and, you know, basement punk shows and stuff. And that's all I wanted to be. I didn't think it was even possible to make the money that we make. You know, I'm not saying that we make a ton, but the numbers that ENTHEOS has seen, I didn't know that was even possible.
No.
You know, and I always had a very realistic mindset of, I do this because I love it. And actually, that was one of the things that's like one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, is because from a pretty young age, you know, 14, going to these punk clubs, Gilman Street and all that, I thought that being a rock star was stupid, you know? And so I didn't have this notion that I was going to make a ton of money off of it, you know? So I've now, you know, now that I'm 34, it's kind of, I feel like I've gone further than I ever thought I would have as a kid.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I feel the same. And you've been, I mean, involved in projects that are much bigger than anything I've been involved in. And I still feel like I've accomplished way more than I ever thought I would when I was a kid. The best case scenario to me when I was going to shows as a teenager was like packing out an AmVets haul.
Yeah, 150.
Yeah. I mean, to me, and like doing over $100 in merch. To me, that's like making a shitload of money. That's like being a professional band.
Yeah,
I had no idea that there are bands out there who make $5,000 a night in merch. That was just totally unreal to me as a kid. So I'm the same, where I didn't have any expectations really going into this game, but I also didn't think, I mean, I guess I thought that I would be playing metal this long in my life, because I'm 31. I just turned 31. you're 34. We're older as far as people who play metal go. I can't say that I ever saw myself still screaming at this point. I kind of thought that I would, get a real job or but so I am amazed at all of the stuff that I've achieved, and it's insane.
It turns out the real job sucks. Not very fun.
Having a real job?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It's not a good time.
Yeah.
I think there's something up with my wide angle camera. All right, we're going to skip that one for now. But, yeah, I mean, making it all work is something that I definitely want to talk about. And I think you and I do a good job at it. Mm-hmm. And I think that my end goal is to do music all the time.
Yeah.
And that's something that I haven't thought was possible, because be it negative mindset or being, too realistic, yada, yada, yada. I think now that you and I have this goal to, hey, let's do this full time. Let's not have the day job. And a lot of people, I think they get that mindset a little too early on, right? And there's no actual plan. It's just, I want to do music all the time, but I'm not going to, math isn't going to concern me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, sorry to interrupt you, but it's when a lot of people start being at a point that they say to themselves, I want to play music full time, usually it's really young kids. Yeah. And when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, not everyone really knows about the reality of finances and budgeting in your metal band.
Good Lord.
That's a whole different skill than being a musician. And you probably, if you were more focused on like learning guitar or drums or whatever in high school or being in a band, right, you probably didn't think that much about how to be financially able to like stay on the road, because it costs money to make albums, which costs money. Every aspect of being in a band costs money.
Oh yeah.
So
and you don't get a pass on math just because you're a musician. Math, the law of gravity and the laws of basic math apply to all people. Doesn't matter if you're an entertainer or you're a musician or whatever. And that's why you and I am going to start advocating for this. We keep our expenses low as fuck, right? Yeah. We live in a damn barn. Mm-hmm. Half the barn's the podcast studio now.
Yeah.
And we make as much as we can with our hustles.
Yeah.
And we live on less than we make. And now we're saving the rest.
Right.
And we're saving the rest so that we can own a house. And it's not going to be, quote unquote own, where you can't afford it and your mortgage kills you. This is what we're working towards now. And I think that this year we've really put it together. We've put it together and said, here's what we want to do. We've seen the results of when we put a plan into place and we do it. And by golly, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why, another reason why I wanted to do the podcast is because podcast merch. What's up? Get some.
You got to make everything a merch store. When you...
Yeah.
I wonder that about almost every kind of live act I see. Like, why aren't you taking advantage of the merch game? It's like, that's one thing that metal has, just metal, hardcore, all of these underground genres just have, like, in the bag, is the fucking merch game.
Yeah, nobody can see. And that's, do you think that's maybe why you see metal merch infiltrating the norms these days? Because it's like, we've gone so hard on merch. It's like a thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And then metal merch became a mainstream thing, right? You got Kylie Jenner or whatever wearing metal shirts.
Like a Behemoth shirt or something. Yeah, I mean, and when you think about it, there's this game of like trying to get the coolest design on your shirts. So naturally, it's going to leak into the mainstream and people are going to be wearing metal merch. I mean, it's aesthetically cool.
Yeah, I was always sort of like a little bit proud about that. Did you feel a sense of pride when metal merch became... Like, I'd see people online, you know, being like, that's so lame that Miley Cyrus wears metal merch or whatever. I don't know if she does.
I think it's awesome.
I was like, that's fucking sick,
yeah,
dude.
I think it's awesome. I have no problem with, like, huge celebrities appropriating the metal culture, anything like that. Because more and more, the older I've gotten, the more I see it kind of seep into the mainstream. And it's cool.
100%.
Like, metal has become, since I was a kid... where it was still kind of viewed as, I mean, I'm from Iowa. People that I knew still kind of thought it was like satanic, if you will.
Yeah.
And now to me, it's like metal has exploded. Yeah. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Kylie Jenner is wearing fucking behemoth shirts.
I mean, an example now is like so I've installed draperies for the entire time that I've been doing metal. With the exception of maybe, I think there was 2 years that I lived down in L.A. with animals. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I've always, you know, worked kind of, it's like a construction kind of thing. And people would always ask me, it would come out that I was in a band or whatever. And, you know, before when I would say metal, they'd have like zero frame of reference. Yeah. Right? And I feel like now when I say metal, everyone knows what that is. You know, they know what that is. To
at least some extent, they're at least going. At the very least, they're going to talk about Metallica.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone knows who Metallica is.
Yeah, and it's a legit industry. Or NAMM, for instance. You know, you go to fucking NAMM. At NAMM, it's about metal.
It is. I talk about it every year. It's fucking crazy to walk in and you see. All of the guitar companies obviously are represented by, for the most part, metal guitar players, metal drummers, bass players. I mean, if you walk to like the Kiesel booth, that's metal. It's metal. And it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me.
It's gone from when I first started going to NAMM, maybe, I don't know, 9 years ago. Mm-hmm. This might be my 10th NAMM if we go this year, which we will.
Yeah, we always say that we're not going to go to NAMM, and then we get severe FOMO.
Maybe we'll be reporting from NAMM this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's now all metal acts on. If you go to Tama or Ibanez and all that stuff, I mean, it's awesome. You know, I think it's great, and I think another thing that I wanted to say earlier was I'm really happy that there's bands that actually can make a total living off of their music.
Yeah, me too.
And then they find other ways to do it within the industry. And I think that's a smart thing to do. You know, you get into production, you get into all these other things, and it's making gear and whatnot. It's and everybody will tell you that, obviously.
Yeah. You know? Which is okay, so we took a bunch of questions from people on both of our Facebook pages and that we're going to ask each other later, but that was one of the questions. How do you make a living playing music in modern times? And while I have really no idea because neither of us are making a total living playing music, I think it seems like that is the way to go. You use the platform that you get from being in a band to pursue other business ventures, and it seems to be going really well for a lot of people, and it's cool. It's, I mean, there are metal musicians who are influencing the way that people play in other genres because of, people who have gone after their own products and things like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, so. And I think that stuff is so awesome, and I have a lot of respect for those guys who can do that. You know,
me too.
That sort of stuff is. It's not as no job is completely solid and secure, but being in a band is something that's sort of volatile, mm-hmm. and then making gear and doing all that is as well. And I think it's just I've got a lot of admiration for the guys who make that work.
Absolutely,
you know? And I want to be one of those guys, but mm-hmm. I want to do it smart.
Yeah.
So with that said, you want to take some of these questions?
Yeah, let's go ahead and
Let's go into these questions.
get into some of these.
Obviously, we're gonna be ironing out the kinks as we go. We're gonna talk about a lot more of this crap.
Yeah.
And yeah, you want to start us off, Chaney?
Yeah. So, like I said, we asked on both of our Facebook pages for questions from people, and obviously, most of them are music related or related to our band, which is ENTHEOS, which we haven't really talked about. That we're in a band together. I'm the vocalist. You're the drummer. But you also
mastermind.
Yeah, mastermind, if you will.
You heard it first. That's it. That's right.
But yeah, so obviously, and we're in a relationship, so I think that's pretty interesting to a lot of people. That we do that. So yeah. Let's get into these. Okay, so first question. When and where did we meet? Was the Animals as Leaders tour in mid-2011 the first time we toured together, even though I wasn't in a band at the time, a.k.a. a test run at Life/Love on the Road? And that's from Julian.
That's a good question.
Well, let's first, you were in Animals as Leaders. You played drums for Animals for how long?
It wasn't that long. It was like 2 years.
Really?
2 years maybe? 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Total.
And we met while you were playing drums for Animals.
Right.
We met.
So,
go ahead.
We met on the... I did... the reason why I joined Animals was I'm friends with Tosin, and his old band Reflux used to play with Animosity all the time back in the day. I think that's like half my life ago. Yeah, I was 17 when I met those guys. That's how I met Evan Brewer and Ash Avildsen, dude who runs Sumerian, and Tosin was in the band. So I met all those guys. We obviously we just really hit it off because they really cared about music and musicianship and all that stuff. And obviously I had my mind blown seeing Evan and Tosin play live for the first time. I'm sure a lot of you out there can relate to how that feels. And years later, Animosity broke up, and Tosin we had stayed in contact, and he had said that BT Bam asked if Animals wanted to open for a week. And so that's how he called me up, and I was like, yeah, obviously I want to do it. I'll ship my drums out to DC. Let's fucking do this. So we did that little run. It was awesome. It was like, nothing I'd ever experienced before. People were going crazy for the music and stuff, and they just loved Tosin.
Oh yeah, I remember when Animals began. It was like sweeping across the metal nation.
Yeah. And we played Iowa City, so I think you were at that show.
Right, I was at that show, but I missed Animals as Leaders. I saw BT Bam, but we have a mutual friend, Dustin, Dustin, I think he was working for you that night or something.
Not that night.
So, okay.
That night, I had met him on the tour that I did. That was in November. Mm-hmm. It was November 2009, I think. Mm-hmm. And November 2008 was Animosity's last tour.
Oh, wow.
And I had met Dustin November 2008 at that same venue. And then he came back the next year, and we hung out a little bit.
Right.
Anyway, the reason why I'm saying...
But for the record, we did not meet at that Animals as Leaders BT Bam show.
We did not meet at that show.
Yeah.
But the tour that we did after that BT Bam run, and that was only like a week long, I think, or a week and a half, something like that. The tour that we did after that was Veil of Maya and Animals.
Yeah.
And that came to Des Moines.
Right. And my band opened for it.
Exactly.
Which is funny because my band was like a local band who we sold pre-sale tickets and things like that. And we were on a show 2 days before the show where we opened for you guys. We were on a Despised Icon show. And I had become a big fan of Animals. That was kind of when everyone was starting to hear about Animals as Leaders. And I got my band on the Despised Icon show, and I begged the promoter in Des Moines to be on the Animals as Leaders Veil of Maya Periphery show. And he told me the only way he was going to let my band on that show was if we sold out of all of our Despised Icon tickets. So I pushed those fucking tickets as hard as I could to get my band on the Animals as Leaders, Veil of Maya Periphery, and Circle of Contempt show, and it worked.
Yeah, that's right. Periphery was on it too.
Yeah.
And that was their first tour. There
was close to no one. I mean, there were probably 50 or 75 people at the show.
Yeah,
it was not very...
It was not populated.
But yeah, I sold tickets to get on that show, and that's the show that we met at.
I saw you walking around. I'm not going to get too sappy on the podcast.
Not the first one,
too
at least.
lovey-dovey on here. But I saw you walking around. You looked awesome, and we hit it off. What can I say?
Yeah, we did.
But it wasn't for another year later till we actually got together.
And we started dating. Yeah, so we started dating in 2011. And the tour that Julian is referring to, if he's asking if that was our first tour together, which it kind of was.
Well, see, okay, yeah. We'll skip.
Can I get some more beer?
Yeah. Do you want the Mind Haze or do you want the...
I want to try the other one.
The more beer I have, the more I want a podcast.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be hard to get us off here. We're going to be on like hour 5.
Yeah.
Give me another bit.
Especially if we're talking about how we met. This is going to be a fucking long podcast.
Well, this is only the first question too, so buckle up. Oops.
But I was going to say...
Well, so he's asking about the
put your mic back.
Oh, sorry. He's asking about the first Animals as Leaders headlining tour, which was a crazy tour.
Okay, let's just skip to that.
Okay.
And because we're going to talk about this more.
Yeah, technically that was the first time that we toured together.
Not
but
really, though.
But yeah, because I went and stayed with you for a week on another tour that you were on earlier that year.
You came out to the Thursday tour.
Yeah, Thursday and I think it was Under Oath.
Animals, Thursday, Under Oath. That was the first time that we spent more than like 3 days together.
Yeah, and I stayed there for a week.
Yeah.
And it
was good times.
But yeah, so then, fast forward to August of 2011, I think I had moved out to LA by this point because you are from the Bay Area, but Animals as Leaders, Tosin and Hav moved to Los Angeles from DC, got a house. You moved down and got a house. I moved into the house, and their girlfriends lived in the house pretty much as well. So it was like the most fun time ever. But anyway,
it was the Animal House.
We took the Animal House on the road.
Yeah.
And which was awesome. It was Animal's first headlining tour with Intronaut, Evan Brewer, Dead Letter Circus, and Last Chance to Reason.
And all of us in one van.
All of us were in one van with along with Steve Jones because he was shooting a documentary of that tour.
That was not a good time.
So there were 9 people in a 15 passenger van for that tour.
Yeah,
we were like sitting up, sleeping on each other. You and I would share
a bench.
A bench, yeah.
So I think that was a trial run, but.
Was it a trial run?
Honestly, I think our whole relationship has been a trial run for it. Because we only hung out... I went to Des Moines twice.
Yeah, and we had
I went to Des Moines twice, and then you came on that Thursday tour for like a week.
And then I basically moved to LA.
Yeah. So
I had come out here and stayed for like a week.
Yeah.
I moved down from Santa Cruz to LA with you, but yeah. I wouldn't say it's the Animals tour was a trial run though, because isn't that like what an entire relationship is anyway?
True.
It's all a fucking trial run.
Well, a lot of people don't tour together, so.
Yeah, I mean.
Which is crazy.
I know.
Now that I have done so many tours with you and stuff, but our relationship didn't change once we started touring together, because I don't know, we met through music and passion, things that we care about, art and whatnot.
Right.
So doing that sort of stuff together it felt natural. I didn't.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't feel weird or like.
It wasn't like it was my first time touring, and obviously it wasn't your first time touring. So we both kind of knew.
Right.
Yeah, we both know how to tour.
It's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. And honestly, to me, it's a little bit weirder that we waited so long. I mean, we were together.
To be in a band together?
We were together for 4 years before we started a band together. That's kind of weird. If you think about it.
I mean, I kind of feel like things just took their natural course, I guess. It does seem obvious for us because you are a guy who writes like complete instrumentals. You play guitar, you play drums, you write a shit ton of music, and I'm a vocalist. It seems obvious. Seems obvious, but it took us a long time. And I think your mom was probably the first advocate of us being in a band together.
Yeah. No, she definitely was. She used to say that all the time. She'd be like, Navene, why can't you just write a song with Chaney? One song. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know why. We sort of had this thing where we were like, yeah, we don't want to do that. You know, we don't want to like make music together. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I didn't really want to, I guess, ride your coattails because people knew who you were. You'd been in bands that I'd known of since far before I met you.
Right.
Animosity, Animals as Leaders, Hoods. You were kind of like a known drummer in the metal community, and I was not a known vocalist, and I kind of wanted to like forge my own path, which is silly because I think that no matter what, if you like are capable of doing something on your own, no one's going to accuse you of riding someone else's coattails.
Yeah, which is something that we've never heard before. And I think that's a very cool testament to how much you rock.
Well, thanks.
You know, we've never heard, and that was something that I was a little bit worried about. You know,
too.
People being like, oh, he's only got her in the band because they're, you know, a couple or whatever. And like, we've literally, out of, you know, it's not like we get a lot of shit talked about us or anything like that, but out of the bad comments that we've got, that's never been one of them that I've ever seen.
Me either. And I honestly, when we like started a band together, I was kind of bracing myself for the worst because I know that people online can be really mean. And, but yeah, I was surprised, pleasantly surprised.
So when it came to proving yourself, I think that actually is going to lead me into, I think we should talk about systems.
Oh, yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Chaney had a band right before ENTHEOS, maybe like a year before.
Yeah, I think we had broken up like a year before ENTHEOS started.
Ultra tech, super fucking sick band called Systems. And is the stuff still on Bandcamp, right? You can still listen to it. And I recommend everybody go listen to it. It is really crazy, awesome, original music. Very, very technical and weird, but not in a death metal way.
Yeah, I guess.
And Augustus would like to know, why did past projects like Systems and Animals as Leaders not work out?
Okay. Well, for Systems, we were pretty much an internet project. I met the drummer and guitar player of Systems because Animals, when you were still in Animals as Leaders, you guys went on a Between the Buried and Me tour, and I was scheduling lessons for Tosin and Hav, and maybe not Hav, but definitely for Tosin and maybe for you.
Yeah.
And through that, I met the guitar player and drummer of Systems. And I didn't.
What tour was that? Was that the headliner?
That was your last Animals as Leaders tour.
Oh, the BT Bam one.
Right.
Yeah.
With Tesseract.
Right.
In 2011. And I just became friends with these kids. Like I didn't know anything about their music or anything like that. And I kind of talked to them on the internet for a while, and eventually they showed me their music because we had become internet friends, and their music, the Systems was amazing. I fell in love with the stuff that they'd written, and I basically forced them to let me be their vocalist. And
that's how you got to do it sometimes. That's how I was with Animals. I was like, dude, you don't have a choice. I am the drummer.
Really?
I'm doing it. That's that.
Well, hey, confidence goes a long way in those things. And I was really confident that I should be the vocalist for their band.
Yeah. No one else is going to be confident for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we wrote an EP together. It's called Terrasomnium. The two guitar players flew out to Los Angeles to track the EP with you. So you kind of produced it.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, that was fun.
We were living in the Valley.
Yeah, Van Nuys.
Yeah, with Michael Keane.
Yes. And so they...
And Raynon Bozio. Shout out to Raynon. What's up,
Buzzy
man?
boy.
I wonder if he's going to watch this. Probably. We got to get Raynon on the show.
I know. I would love to have Raynon on the show. But
we got to get Raynon on the show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we should.
I'm going to make a note of that real quick.
But anyway, so yeah, they flew out. They stayed with us for 4 weeks or so while the EP was getting finished. You and I finished vocals. We went to play shows together and they just did not work out. And after the shows didn't work out, I decided that I didn't want to do it. And, it kind of fell apart, basically, which a lot of bands do. So that's what happened.
You have such a drive, right?
Yeah.
And the managerial aspect to you that a lot of people probably don't know about. You do all of the... You get all the merch together for the band. You do a lot of the logistic stuff. That's all you.
Yeah, you mean for ENTHEOS, right?
Yeah, for ENTHEOS. And so when you do something, you're going in 110%. You're going fucking hard.
It's my job. I'm a professional.
You're on the job. So if everybody's not like that, it's going to be real hard for you to keep going.
Absolutely. Which is, I'm sure we'll get to this later, but that's like a reason why I feel that ENTHEOS does work out really well with us being together.
Yeah.
Just because me with that mindset and you with your mindset, which is distinctly different from mine. But it kind of like, it's the perfect partner for all of the stuff that I'm into business wise and artistically in a band, that it works out really, really well for us.
I mean, I think we fill in each other's gaps.
Oh, absolutely.
Not trying to sound nasty or anything, but you are a vocalist. I'm not a vocalist.
Right.
You
it's
lyrics.
the only thing. I would
lyrics.
say that vocals are the only thing that you don't do really well.
Yeah, that's not
but
my thing.
You can do vocals. For the record, we've talked occasionally about you doing backup vocals.
Well, now that we have these we got the little mic dealies.
Oh, I know.
Maybe I'll attach one of these fucking things to my snare drum.
Oh, dude. God, we'd just be like rocking dads.
No, but I don't do vocals. I don't have any interest in doing vocals
or writing lyrics. That's not
writing lyrics. So I think. Yeah, and then also the other stuff, the image stuff, that stuff. That's not really my forte.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more like, put me in a desk with a guitar, and some drum programming software, dude, and never talk to me again. Straight up.
Yeah, I mean, you're someone
fucking go forever.
You're someone who really thrives in that kind of environment, which is you've got like a unique thing to you. I haven't met, even in the musician community, very many people who can kind of just sit down and write really good riffs. Like, you don't ever really write riffs that I think should be scrapped. But you
every once in a while,
I'm like, I'm not really into
There's
it.
There's one in Black Static that you're not too stoked on.
Oh God, I hate when that riff happens, because we've been playing that song on so many tours lately that I hate when that part happens, because it sounds like I don't know, it just really sounds out of place and like a 90s like Sublime riff or something.
Yeah. And that's something that we're trying to get better with about the band, making everything work together.
Yeah, but that's a part of being in a band. We've only been a band for almost 5 years, 4.5 years, if you want to be really technical with it. And it's like, our band is unique in the way that the minute we announced that we were a band, it was like on metal news sites.
Yeah,
everyone knew about it. And we never got a chance to be a local band or a band who could iron shit out, which I feel like we're doing.
Which takes 5 years, right? I mean, it takes you at least 5 years to get your style down and all that crap.
At least. And I mean, they say it takes 10,000 hours to be a professional at anything. So yeah, nowhere near that.
Right,
even
man.
with all of the touring it's like, so that's been an actually interesting part of our band for me.
Yeah.
Is that we were kind of like, whatever spotlight you can get as far as playing death metal.
Yeah.
We kind of got it from the beginning. And, it's been a weird thing. I wouldn't say that we've like dealt with it, but it's been an interesting way to grow a band.
Yeah, absolutely. So it didn't work out with Systems because just basically mindset within the band, and I think you were maybe a little bit all in more so than the rest.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then for me with Animals, I'm going to answer that some other time. That's a long story.
Well,
I didn't want to go there right now.
It's not on bad terms though.
No,
it's not like you.
Are you kidding me?
You didn't get kicked out.
I didn't get kicked out. It was all good. I love those guys. I'm going to leave a cliffhanger there. We're going to answer that.
And we lived with them for a while after you weren't in the band anymore. And I mean, those are our brothers.
They're our brothers.
Yeah,
are you kidding
absolutely.
Me? Come on. Love those guys.
Yeah.
So, here's one from Victoria. And Victoria, I'm assuming that's a woman. She asks, what is the best way for us to support ENTHEOS?
Buy merch. Buy merch.
Buy merch. And speaking of which, we've got these super legit. This is something I wanted to bring up at some point.
Oh, those are so cool.
Super legit. So like I was talking about, Chaney's mastermind, she came up with doing like a Halloween limited edition sci-fi horror. She's been watching a lot of horror movies lately. And she had this fucking awesome sci-fi horror retro movie poster made.
By Alexandre Goulet.
And those are up on the Bandcamp for pre-order, right? They're not out yet?
Yeah, they're up for pre-order. Well, we're going to start sending them out on October 15th, so we don't really know when this is going to come out yet. But
look at that shit.
So, yeah.
It's thick, it's nice, great quality, super sick poster. We're going to be displaying it proudly on the podcast.
Yeah, those are so cool. I'm so happy with how they turned out. I've been wanting to do like a Halloween merch thing for a long time, so.
But yeah, I mean, obviously for any band that you like or any artist, buying something goes a long way. You know, I mean, and we've seen that happen with our band. Just the little bit of stuff that we sell each month online really freaking helps us. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really freaking helps
because
us.
we use that money to kind of circulate back into the band, and
yeah,
that's really, I think, one of the best things you can ask for in playing music, in being in the kind of band we're in, is for the band to support itself.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't care if we ever make a ton of money, as long as the band can just kind of be self-sufficient. That's like the most I could ever ask for. So yeah, buy merch, go to shows. Yeah. First week sales matter a lot. Listen to us on Spotify, watch our shit on YouTube. Numbers are a thing when you're being considered for tours and things like that. Yeah. So,
and I mean, just honestly, also listening to the music. And a huge thing is telling your friends. Yeah? Yeah. I mean, seriously, you might not think that, but telling your friends you got to check this band out, I think is maybe it's, I don't know if it's something that is as popular as it was when I was younger, because we get so much stimulus from the internet these days. You know, I feel like I'm a little less likely to show somebody something than I was 10 years ago.
Really?
I think so.
I feel like I'm more of a loudmouth about the music that I love than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sometimes think that I'm like being too annoying with it. Like if I'm into a band, I'm really into a band.
Yeah.
Like a lot lately, you've heard me talking about Emma Ruth Rundle, because that's all I've been listening to lately. And
totally.
That's
totally.
So yeah, I mean, but there is no promotion like the word of mouth.
Yeah, and what I'm really saying is you might if it crosses your mind and you like the band and you know somebody that would like them, show them. Show them. And I do that all the time. Like, if I'm into a band, I'm showing somebody, and because I know that's gonna help the band. Just getting those fucking plays up, man.
Wait, but you just said that you're less likely to show.
I'm less likely unless it's a thing like what you're talking about, where if I'm super obsessed.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's gonna know about
that's
it.
True.
But for just the here and there type stuff, I and it's easier than ever to share, but I don't. Sometimes I think like I'll hear something because I do this thing where sometimes I feel like I don't want to show someone something unless I know like a lot about it. Do you do that? Like if I heard something on Spotify just randomly one day and it was pretty cool and I was like, oh, so-and-so might like this, I wouldn't send it to them. Because if they asked me a question, I'd be like, I don't know. I just heard them on Spotify.
Yeah, I don't really send people anything through text, but not really because of that reason. But
okay. Well, anyway, long story short, buy shit.
Yeah.
Obviously. And tell your friends.
That's right. There was an album. Oh, yeah. I think this might be on your list. There was a question about like what our favorite underground bands are, which, speaking of telling people about bands. Yeah. Is there any like underground band that you're super into that you think more people should know about?
Yeah. I mean, I like, I'm wearing the shirt, Spite. That's a sick band.
Yeah, Spite's sick.
Super killer. I mean, they're doing well for themselves.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I feel like most people who heard this would probably know who they are.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they're super awesome. What do you think?
I would say as far as bands that no one's really heard of, Otme.
Yeah.
Otme from Kansas City. They used to...
Roman Holiday. Coincidentally, I... did their last 2 records. So
you did the latest one, the one that I think is super sick. Sewerborn. It has Sewerborn on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's
classic metal.
My God. They opened one of the shows that we played earlier this year with Rivers of Nile, Conjurer, and Wolf King, and
they ripped it.
Oh my God.
Dude.
I was afraid to follow that band.
Yeah.
We weren't directly following them, but I was just afraid to play later in the night because they fucking murdered. It's
the type of band where they've been, I know them very well, and it's the type of band, and that's AHTME. Their name sucks.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, not the most into the name, but the music
seriously
rules.
Fucking killer, classic death metal. They rip live.
They write the kind of songs that you hear them and you just feel like you never hadn't heard them.
Yeah.
They've always been around. Yeah.
Oh, that song. Of course. Yeah. Cool.
Catchy. Just the most like groovy, like they're just so sick and they can play it perfectly live, which is a huge thing for me. If your band murders live, then I love your band way more.
I lose all respect. If you can't, if I go to see you live and it sucks, I'm just like, okay.
I'm not into your band anymore. Yeah.
That's why with Spite, we played with them in Sacramento.
Oh, that.
Good Lord.
I was scared to follow Spite.
Yeah. We had to play after them?
We had to play directly after Spite.
No, did we really? I don't know if we did in Sacramento.
No, we did. No, they played directly after us, I think.
Yeah, because I would have been like, I'm going home.
They played after us. Yeah, if they would have played before us.
The sound guy just fucking like, he just turned the shit up to 11, and it was like, I felt like a kid going to see Slipknot. You know what I mean? I was scared. It was sick.
I mean, they were amazing. And just the kind of music that they play does really well in like a small venue where we played with them, which was Holy Diver in Sacramento, which is a really small, intimate venue. And it just murders. And I've got to say, Darius, their vocalist, is
legend.
One of my favorite vocalists in the game. He's got every kind of screaming voice you could want. He's got down. I love his like maniacal, fucking twisted guy vocals. They're a good band, man. They're a good band,
dude,
and
they live around here. Let's get them on the fucking show.
Yeah, let's get them on the show, man.
Let's get them on the show.
Yeah, they fucking rule. Spite is sick. Yeah, I don't think they're really underground.
Yeah, they're okay. So a lesser known band that I love. I've told you about them a million times. Cognizance.
Oh yeah.
Cognizant.
Mm-hmm.
This is a band from the UK. Ultra, the tech death kind of stuff. Oh, they rip.
Yeah.
They rip. I mean, just check them out. Just check them out because it's this classic death metal. It's what you want to hear, right? Like I have a certain thing. It's when I hear it, I'm just like, okay, that's what I want.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
what I want. And I think Shadow of Intent is becoming like that for me too.
Shadow of Intent is really sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like their last album too. But I think that would probably top a lot of like metal people's lists.
Yeah,
this
it's
year.
not necessarily underground.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff.
See, the underground thing is a weird thing for me because sometimes I'll see lists online like, what's your favorite underground band? And people are naming like
not underground. BT band.
Yeah. Or like I don't know, any other Lamb of God. Best underground metal band. It's like, bro.
Yeah.
They've been touring in a bus for the last like 15
or
years.
when you go out there and you're like, hey, send me some recommendations of stuff to check out, and it's like,
every
some
band
that I was like in.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
a band you were in or that we just got off tour with or something. I mean, yeah, the asking for recommendations thing never really works out for me because I would say we're both pretty in tune to like what's going on in metal. We know a shitload of metal bands. And no one can really hit me off to metal that I haven't heard about. So
seriously.
But hey, thanks for trying.
So wait, what was the underground band that you put forth?
Otme. Yeah.
Right, of course. Yeah, great band.
All right, you want to go with another question?
I will. I got one here. This is going to sound funny, me reading it. I know this is from Will off the Facebooks. Mm-hmm. And I think he was on your Facebook. And he said, I know y'all are into health and fitness. Just looking at that hunky Navene. So
that's why you wanted to read that comment.
Yes, that's why I'm reading this one. Duh. But given the inherent unhealthiness of touring, how do you keep after it on the road?
Oh, that's
do you
a
have
good
any
one.
tips for healthy eating, roadside workouts, etc.?
We do have a lot of tips for that, I think.
Dude, I think I've yet to see somebody as badass with their system as ours.
Well,
are you kidding me?
Well, someone in a van.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are people who are touring in bandwagons and buses or like a vehicle that has a refrigerator on it. That
If you have a bus or whatever, then sure.
But still, even if you have a bus, buses just go from venue to venue. You're not stopping at a gym, which is what we do every day. So there's the first pointer is that we stop at Planet Fitness. That is where we go. We don't map our GPS to the next venue. We map it to the nearest
to
Planet Fitness.
That's that.
Yeah.
And the reason why we go to Planet Fitness is because people who work out people,
mm-hmm.
they're gonna be like, oh, talking shit. They're gonna be like, oh, Planet Fitness, fuck that, blah 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 blah. I get it. It's not the best gym.
I get it too. Yeah.
They don't have barbells. I get it. It's not the best. Whatever. It's fucking. First of all, it's $20 a month for every gym. I mean, there's more of them than any other gym.
Oh my God. You can look up a Planet Fitness anywhere you're at in this entire country and in a lot of Canada, and you'll find a fucking Planet Fitness within 2 hours.
Dude, we'll go play the show, go to Planet Fitness, then drive to a Planet Fitness that's halfway in between the next show. And then once we get into town that the show's in, go to another one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking home base.
Ever since we started going to Planet Fitness, and we tour in a van. We tour in a van, and we stay in the van every night. I take 2 showers a day. Yeah. And most venues do not have showers. So don't get that thought out of your mind. That's not where I'm showering. I shower in 2 Planet Fitnesses a day.
Yeah. Also, if they have a shower, it's probably disgusting. If you're
at a venue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we do.
Imagine this. Imagine being me and getting into a venue shower after 12 guys have taken showers.
Good Lord.
Shaved themselves. And they're like,
jellyfish.
There's like jellyfish, man body hair everywhere. And like,
no,
fuck, no.
We're not doing it.
No. Planet Fitness, sparkling clean showers.
Oh God. It's the cleanest.
The cleanest showers.
And the AC is all cranked up.
Oh my God.
If it's summer.
So that's where we work out. We work out at Planet Fitness every day.
That's what we do. So what we do is for the workout portion on tour, we go to Planet Fitness. This happened in January. Yeah, January or February.
Yeah, March.
Yeah.
Whenever we were on that tour.
So we started getting serious about the fitness stuff about around then. Mm-hmm. We went to Europe and your boy was a mess.
We drank every single day.
Yeah,
but you and I are similar in the way that we both kind of go back and forth with dieting and going to the gym.
Yeah.
Like we both have always kind of been gym people.
Yeah.
But we take a while off, or there are periods where we drink a lot more beer than or eat a lot more bread.
We go to Des Moines.
Yeah.
And
my family feeds us snacks and
best food ever.
We also on the tour where we got our Planet Fitness memberships, it was I think a 48-day tour and neither of us really drank.
No, I think I told myself I was going to do 4 party nights.
Yeah.
And I stuck to it.
Yeah.
I might have gone over, but I said 4 nights to drink, and I'm not going to feel bad. I'm not going to drink and go, oh God, I'm going to be fat. It's just no, I'm going to enjoy this. It's one night a week, basically.
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy myself.
Well, if you're someone who does drink, you're not straight edge or completely abstinent on the road to drink under 10 nights in 47
hard,
days.
Dude.
It's fucking hard and it's really impressive to do that.
It is.
Because tour is monotonous. I won't say that the only fun thing there is to do is to party every single night, but it's one of the things that can break up the chain of how constant everything is on tour. You're at a venue, you are there all night, you leave, you drive to the next venue, and that's for a month and a half straight.
Good Lord.
It gets really weird in your head.
Yeah.
So to not drink a lot is tough.
It's tough. I mean, I remember thinking about. So we did January. We started saying, "Hey, let's get our fitness together. Mm-hmm. Let's get in shape here."
Yeah.
I was not stoked. I was, not stoked on my physique or whatever. And
we toured a lot last year.
Yeah.
So it was we did a summer tour, we did a fall tour, and then we did a small winter tour. So it was just a free.
And one of them was in Europe,
one was in Europe.
You're getting fed the best beer and fucking doner kebab.
Yeah.
And good stuff. So, yeah, I said, you know what? We did the small run with Winds of Plague. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm not drinking at all. And I remember fucking going into that, all scared.
Yeah.
Nervous. What am I going to do with myself?
I was really impressed when you did that because for me, I've always said, I take a shot of whiskey before I play a show.
Yeah. And
that's just always.
It's not like we're fucking alcoholics or anything
not
like that.
All,
but it's just you're going to have a couple beers.
Well,
you know what I mean?
For me, I am the type of person who rarely drinks at home. If I do, it's the weekend. Right now, I'll have a few beers. But
which we should address. All right, I know it's kind of, a lot of you guys are going to be talking shit. It's ironic. We're talking about health and fitness, but we're sitting here drinking beer.
Oh, yeah.
But Chaney and I go hard all week. Okay? We go super hard. We are strict with the diet. We're strict with the working out. And on Saturday,
we let loose a little bit.
Saturday is the just day to chill, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
we
knock a few back.
I personally I don't know if I don't know if need is the actual word for the day off a week, but it gives me something to look forward to. Yeah. That, oh man, I can have a really killer meal and not give a fuck at all on Saturday. I'm going to drink some beer.
And I think that's what's cool about starting up this podcast. Mm-hmm. We'll just be out here drinking craft beer, We'll be thinking about the cheat meal that we're going to have. What are we having, by the way? We're doing Aptos Street.
Barbecue.
BBQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Saturday. We go big. We do the big ass fucking meal.
Yeah. So Was there a question?
Yeah, the question was, how do you say it fit on the road?
Oh,
and we
Jesus,
said,
we've
get yourself. Yeah,
go to Planet Fitness.
So get the Planet Fitness, and then
and we have to give it up because we were not the first people to think of the Planet Fitness thing. We were on tour with Lorna Shore, and they did that. And
they did it just for the showering.
They did it for the showering, and honestly, it took us an entire year after that to get our shit together and be like, oh my god, they were so smart in doing that.
Super cheap. They are gonna have to endorse the show. If they want us to keep talking about their stupid fucking gym. But another thing that's huge and is, so I have a nice cooler. So we would bring the cooler, fill that bitch up with ice, and we would go to Walmart every day. And we're gonna get some chicken, veggies, cheese, low carb tortillas.
That
was huge.
That's been a savior for me, honestly, is staying. I know that this is people will groan and roll their eyes at the low carb thing, but learning or training myself to eat incredibly low carb on tour, to like go to peanut butters and dark chocolate and just eat meat, not a ton of bread. If I'm eating bread, it's like these really low carb tortillas. That was a huge extreme wellness.
Those
Walmart.
are great. They're like fucking a couple bucks.
And that all really helped me maintain on tour, because I think that
changed the game.
Yeah.
That changed the fucking game.
Yeah.
Seriously.
If you can learn to eat low carb, because you're naturally going to eat way less calories eating low carb, which that is all that staying the same weight is, or losing weight is maintaining your calorie. If you want to lose weight, maintain a deficit. If you don't want to lose weight, then you should calculate what your daily caloric intake should be for your weight, if you want to go that way. But keeping it no carb kept me also low calorie. So even though I count my calories, but I'm way better about it at home. I'm not as good about it. I feel like you're way better about it when we're on tour.
Yeah, I was on tour, but now I'm not doing that. I don't count the calories.
You don't count your calories now. I still do.
I just know how to eat. Mm-hmm. And then also I started doing jiu-jitsu. So yeah, we'll get into that. But that's a highly takes a lot of energy sport, if you will. So I just was like, this is dumb. Trying to have too many different conflicting goals at once. It's like, and I'm still kind of lean, and I don't even care anyway. I just want to be stronger.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't always stay under, like, you can pick your caloric goal for the day. And I just track things because it's kind of fun to see.
Yeah. I mean, people ask me that on Instagram a lot. How do I, and it's not a whole lot to it.
It's very easy.
Yeah, MyFitnessPal, it's free. Get it. Set it to, if you're a dude, set it between 2,000 and 2,300 and do that for a fucking 2 months. And after 2 months, you're going to be like, whoa, I can't even recognize this.
But guy. I think that, like, in counting calories, one thing that we did that made it way easier is that neither of us eat very much sugar. Yeah. And there are a lot of ways to trick your body into thinking that, like, if you're a sweets person,
the
dark chocolate and cream, heavy whipping cream, we buy a ton of that every week, and we just whip cream, and that's like my dessert every night. I have dessert every single night.
Yeah, and our dessert is heavy cream whipped with some dark chocolate, and you put some peanut butter up in there.
Fire.
It's so fucking good.
Fire.
I will take that. We have a half gallon of ice cream in the freezer.
Yeah,
it's been in there for weeks.
Yeah,
I don't even want it because I like that dessert more. And that dessert has like hardly any, I don't know, it's probably like 10, 15 grams sugar.
Dude, I pour a little almond flavoring and almond extract into my heavy whipping cream, and it's the best thing ever.
Yeah. And so the main thing is you got to have the mindset. Hey, I'm fucking doing this. I'm getting my shit together. I'm getting myself in shape. And I don't give a fuck if I'm on tour. I don't give a fuck if I'm at home working. fuck it, this is what I'm doing.
And,
that's the main thing.
Well, you also have to like accept that you're going to be hanging out with people who are not on the same level as you.
Yeah.
And you have to have the mental toughness to, which you are really good about doing this. Like days that we don't go to a Planet Fitness, you'll just like go bust a workout in the parking lot. And I never really do that. I only really work out if we are at a Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
You
I read
have
that David Goggins book, and I was like, all right, I did 1,000 push-ups.
Yeah, and you couldn't move for like 3 days.
My shoulder's like never been the same since then.
Really?
Yeah. Anybody who follows me on Instagram, if you saw me post that I did 1,000 push-ups, I actually did it. It was.
He did do it.
I did 10 push-ups on the minute for 100 minutes
in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, outside the show
in the summer.
Yeah.
In the fucking blistering hot heat.
So I did do that, but my shoulder has never been the same.
All right, so don't do that.
Don't do it. Not a good idea. But that's how you stay fit, and definitely invest in a nice cooler. We have it's not a Yeti, but it's like a copy of a Yeti. Arctic,
yeah.
And ice lasts in there for like a good 2-3 days, and you can just put your food in there and eat the food.
You do have to watch what you eat, and also understand that drinks are calories too.
Good Lord.
Anything that's not like sugar-free, Diet Coke, water.
Yeah.
Beer is so many calories.
Good Lord. I mean there's probably 400 fucking calories a piece in these beers. It doesn't say.
It doesn't say. I mean, who knows?
But
it's a ton of calories.
That's what's great about MyFitnessPal. So I would say 4 days per tour to cut loose, do whatever I want, and I don't have to feel any guilty about it. If I wanted to have a beer in between those 4 days, well, I have to keep track of it on MyFitnessPal. And you can just look up like IPA, 8 ounces IPA or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the secrets to all this stuff is that there is no secret. Is that you have to just, I like to call it 2 + 2 = 4. It's, you do something and it equals the result. That's it. There's no way to change it. You just have to do it. It's simple, but it's not easy. And it sucks, but, being proud of yourself is better than feeling
like shit.
Like shit, yeah. Mm-hmm. And when you earn it, like for me, on Saturdays, when I drank last night too. I had about 3 beers last night. It was great. But anyway, I feel like I earn them,
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do.
And also on the road, as fun as drinking is and everything, you are putting your body through such extreme conditions. Like I said, sleeping in a van a lot of the time, which is okay for me because I'm 5'2", so I can fit on a bench. But for most people, it's not very comfortable. Your back will hurt, and you're just treating yourself like shit. So
be mindful.
And if you're not drunk, you'll feel a lot better.
And you'll feel like an outcast sometimes, because everyone else will be having a good time. Everyone else sometimes on that Rivers, because it was on the Rivers tour. Everyone would be partying and having a good time.
Well, Rivers was actually all sober on that tour as well. So it was a unique tour because there were 2 bands who weren't really drinking. Because ironically, they had decided to be sober on that tour, and we had to.
And we had talked to them about that.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on, I think maybe the final question.
Okay.
You want to? I think we remember that one we talked about.
Which one?
Here.
Oh, what is your...
You want to go out on that one, or you want to do a different one?
Sure. Isaac asked, what is your current mission statement as artists? What's yours?
So for me, and this is something I feel very strongly about, and if you've been following me at all in the last 10 years, you'll know that it's true, and that is... I do whatever the fuck I want musically. And if you don't like it, I don't care. Mm-hmm. And if it means financial ruin for myself, I don't give a fuck. I make the kind of art and the kind of music that I want to make. And that's that. And that might not be right for everybody. I'm willing to go work a day job or do whatever I have to do to support that art
Yeah.
because it's the utmost important thing one of the most important things in my life. That's not a person, is to make music that I can stand behind and I feel is very true to who I am as a person.
I'm 100% on that as well because I think it's very easy when you play music and you feel like your band is kind of doing something different than what is like truly popular right now or anything like that, that you should like kind of like fit the mold a little more or something like that.
The pressure is always there.
The pressure is always there, especially if people work for you. Someone is telling you something. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been asked if I'm going to sing in our band, which, you know, I might do that someday.
Yeah, if the artistic side calls for it, then yeah,
absolutely.
Then we're gonna do it. But
I've never been opposed to doing that.
We don't do things
because they're
artistically cool. Because we think it's gonna, you know, make us more popular.
Or cool,
or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that.
No.
And I fucking live my life that way.
Which might be a fault of ours.
It's to a fault.
Yeah.
It's to a fault.
It's to a fault for us, I think, because we you know, sometimes you end up so far outside of the box that people don't really understand even what you're going for. I don't know that we've really done that, but neither of us are the type of people who are going to like copy what other people are doing just because it's what's cool at the moment. No. Neither of us are very good at like selling ourselves on the internet as like a persona.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I thought would be cool about doing a podcast is if, you know, I don't know how many people would be interested in this, but if I do feel like if people knew me or where I was coming from a little more, they might understand the artwork a little bit better. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereas because when you're online, and you hear something about a person, it's like out of the blue, you know?
Right.
But if I could sit down and explain the thing to somebody, it's going to make a lot more sense.
Yeah. And I mean, especially when you like put out an album or put out a new song or something, you get a like paragraph long quote.
Right. Which is fucking stupid. Are you kidding me, dude?
Your press person will ask you for a quote to send to metal sites or to whoever wants to post it, and that's what they'll post. So you're summing up an entire like year's worth of work into 3 sentences.
Yeah. And it's so corny and
it's
like
corny.
Dude, at this point, people that like music and content and stuff, they're not stupid. You know, they want realness.
Yeah.
You know, when you're not real, it just doesn't work anymore. You know, and I think that's what's cool about having a platform to sort of talk about all this stuff.
Totally. Even though we've kind of like bounced around to a lot of like weird, I'm sure that this will get a little more, we'll figure it out. We'll iron out the wrinkles over time because, you know, we've gone a lot of places with this today, but yeah, I mean.
I think it'll be like that every day.
Probably.
But hey, seriously, we want to fucking thank you guys for tuning in. You watched our first date basically on camera, and if you are watching this or supporting the band or anything like that, just thank you so much. And Chaney, any little final thoughts before we go here? Go smash at Aptos Street Barbecue?
No, I'm
all good.
No final thoughts.
Right on. Well, hey, everybody have I don't know if this is it's Saturday now, but it'll probably come out during the week. So if you're at work,
have a good week.
Get through it, man. It's all good. We're all heading in the right direction. And we'll fucking see you guys next week.
Yeah, and if we didn't answer your question today, then we're going to keep them around. I'm sure we'll answer them next time.
Yeah, so, please keep sending us the questions and stuff.
Feel free to message us. We'll probably check that stuff. We're not afraid to receive messages from strangers.
No. And we're easy to get a hold of. I feel like I'm easy. All right, everybody. We love y'all. Take it easy.